Overrated UFC athletes. That is what we are going to be talking about today, okay? And understand this. Part of the inspiration for this is we're getting into this Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis matchup, and I'm leaning towards Khamzat. However, y'all are talking about Khamzat Chimaev like I didn't just see him go to an arguable draw with Kamaru Usman. And I mean arguable draw because Khamzat Chimaev was literally gifted the easiest, like one of the craziest 10-8 rounds I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm sorry. No joke. If you gave Khamzat Chimaev a 10-9 in round 1 against Kamaru Usman, that would have been a draw. So when people say it's an arguable draw, because most people agree that round 1 should not have been a 10-8 under the scoring criteria of MMA, okay? So that's what just kind of got me down in this mood. And then I got into another discussion of somebody that legitimately believes that Joshua Van is going to piece up Pantoja. Like, I'm over here like, brother, Joshua Van is getting a title shot at 23 because we literally do not have any contenders here. We don't have any contenders at flyweight right now that we are basically handing these out like Willy Wonka's golden ticket because we need to buy time so Pantoja so we can get another prospect, and Joshua Van just got the card, okay? There's a reason why Pantoja was laughing when he was talking about Joshua Van, because he was like, bro, I'm about to get this guy who's going to have a legacy at flyweight early. That's what that is. That's what that is. And that's kind of sparked me down this debate, okay? Let me just preface real quick the people that are going to be on this list. I'm not talking about people that the majority of the fan base agrees are just not that good, and then we're just having like when I'm saying overrated, some people will say CM Punk. Nobody rates CM Punk. Nobody rates him. So arguing that he's overrated is just a losing argument. We're going to be going through people all throughout the UFC. I tried to get everybody from at least one person per weight class, bare minimum. Everybody. From Joshua Van to Paddy Pimblett to Khamzat Chimaev, yes, that's going to be a debate, to some people's GOAT, Jon Jones. We are going to be ranking them in a pseudo-tier list. Mostly I'm just going to be yapping, and this is just meant to keep me on track. And I'm going to be ranking them on how overrated I believe they are by the fan base. If this video is entertaining you, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. We're about to get 20,000 subscribers. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think we were going to hit that soon. We're trying to get to 50,000 by the end of the year. The goal is 100,000, obviously. Brother, we did not come here to take part. We came here to take over. In reality, bro, I want to get another plaque. I want to get one of these. I want to get one right over there. We got Ethan, everything. We got cage side combos. I think that would be kind of dope. That's my goal. And let's get into, is your UFC prospect overrated? Let's go. Joshua Van. I'm just going to keep it 100% honest with you. I'm sorry. People that are buying in hard to the Joshua Van hype, I just got to pump the brakes on you really quick. You're getting hype for Joshua Van to potentially beat Pantoja because he had a super competitive matchup with Royval. Royval, mind you, is not bad. I'm not saying that Royval is bad at all. But, like, for me to believe that you're going to beat Pantoja, I need you to dominate Royval. I need you to go in there, absolutely no diff Royval. And this is an unmotivated Royval. I need that to be stated. Royval was already talking about going up a weight class beforehand. So this is a Royval that is already near the end of his flyweight tenure. This is a guy that is no longer hyped about that title picture versus a guy that is so young that people are making comparisons already to Max Holloway for the flyweight division. And I think I do believe, let me just say this right now, Joshua Van, I do believe, will become champion because I think he outlasts everybody here. But the part of the reason he's getting this title shot is because there's a curse going on at flyweight, if I've already told you. There is no prospect in that division, even the champion, arguably, does not have these three qualities. Are they fun to watch? Are they marketable? And have they lost to Pantoja? No, I'm being for real. No. Find me a prospect that crosses all of those. Monel Cap. Wait. Seriously, you're bringing up my... Next. Mohamed Mokaev, brother, he's not even in the UFC. Next. Brennan Moreno. You mean the guy that is famous for having all of these losses against Pantoja? Figueiredo ain't even at flyweight anymore. Brother, we were so desperate to get Pantoja to face somebody. We were talking about Figgy coming back down. And the UFC's not going to do that because they don't want to risk Figgy becoming champion again, even though he's near the tail end of his UFC tenure as well, and he's already up at bantamweight. Brother, I'm looking at Joshua Van, and the UFC is pushing Joshua Van because they want somebody new. They want Joshua Van to at least make it competitive because they know Joshua Van's going to become champion later on. Pantoja knows he's going to become champion later on, so he's going to get him early and build some legacy on a 23-year-old. That's the truth, and I don't even blame Pantoja. He's cleared out the division, dog. Kaya Sakura's facing Tim Elliott, and I hope Kaya Sakura wins. Bro, I like Pantoja. Pantoja's borderline underrated at this point because I believe he's a top 5 UFC fighter right now, pound for pound. But oh my goodness, bro, stop hyping up Joshua Van like you think he's gonna dominate Pantoja. I think he gets submitted first 2 rounds. I do. I think he gets a RNC. I think he's gonna get choked out. And it's not because Joshua Van is bad. I think Joshua Van is early, and a lot of people are like misconstruing that. It's like, well, he looked good against Brendan Royval. He also got finished by Charles Johnson in 2024. And Charles Johnson's sneaky. He's real sneaky. Okay, he got a sneaky good performance against Mohamed Okayev and other people that people bring up. But I'm sorry, Joshua Van is early in his UFC career, and I do believe the Pantoja matchup is going to be a learning experience. So hyping him up like you think this guy's going to be like the new champ, pump it a brakes. Okay, I think he's overhyped, but I think he's good. That's where I stand with him. Overhyped, but good. Cody Garbrandt. Can I just be honest with you, Doug? I thought I was alone when I said that Cody Garbrandt is like... Whenever people talk about somebody that makes an entire career off of one moment, people say Nate Diaz. Okay? Nate Diaz built an entire career off of beating Conor McGregor. Okay? People think Masvidal. Masvidal built an entire career off of the Ben Askren knee. And this isn't even meant to be a slight against any of them. Make yo bag, dude. Make your bag. Cody Garbrandt, I just gotta be real with you, dude. Had a great performance against Dominic Cruz. And it's literally straight down after that. I do believe, bro, like he might have made a deal with the MMA devil himself and said, hey, yo, take all of my skill that I will ever attain in my life and put it into this one performance against Dominic Cruz. And then after that, I'm going to take a nosedive in my career. This downfall was so quick that people forget how quick it is. Brother, I'll be real here. I think that the UFC made Cody Garbrandt versus Ronnie Barcelos. And I was already picking Barcelos. Not because I think Barcelos is crazy good. No. I just think Cody Garbrandt was never that good. When we're talking about that good, I don't think he was ever in debates of greatest bantamweight of all time. He has one good performance. I'm sorry, that's the truth. And then when I'm looking at that, brother, I think Cody Garbrandt gets finished by Peyton Talbot. I'll be dead ass, bro. I think Cody Garbrandt gets finished by Peyton Talbot badly. I think so. And I don't even think Peyton Talbot's that good. And truth is, bro, he could be good later on in his career. I think you're allowed one bad performance in your career. It's 2. Every single great of the UFC has one bad performance. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Gleason Tebow. Done. Makhachev, according to Brendan Saab, Pantoja. Another one, Pantoja, Figueiredo, 100%. Every single great has a bad... Actually, the more you look at it, the truer that is. Every single great... Bro, GSP, Matt Serra, 100%. Where's my train of thought at? Oh, yeah, no. Every single GOAT of, the UFC. And I know it's crazy, saying Peyton Talbot's the GOAT. The point that I'm trying to make is, as a prospect, I allow you one bad performance. Paddy Pimblett, turned out to be pretty good. Really bad performance against Jared Garden. I allow you one bad performance before I negatively rate you. So Peyton Talbot might be good. However, Cody Garbrandt, there comes a point where I just have to be okay, you had one amazing performance, and you built a career on it, and I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real with you, dog. I would actually argue, the way that people talk about Cody Garbrandt, and in the discussion is a TJ Dillashaw, or even close to a bantamweight GOAT discussion. Bro, I'm going to keep it real. I think we're going to do very overrated right now. Until the fan base can just settle down, because I will see... Dude, most of the edits of Cody Garbrandt's career is from one matchup. I need that to be said. And that matchup was more competitive than you think it was, just to be for real with you. Very overrated. I'm putting him right there. Raul Rosas JR. Or by, MMA Guru calls him El Disgusto. I'm not going to do that, but, bro's born to be a fighter. Okay, when I'm looking at Raul Rosas Jr., here's the truth, dog. I look at Raul Rosas Jr. the same way that I look at Saraput Magomedov, and it's not because of looks. No. I have to temper my expectations because whenever I see a new prospect that has hype, I expect them to, that their goal in their career is to become champion. Call me a bad guy. If I see somebody come into the UFC with literally an astronomical amount of hype, I think that the end part of their career should be to become champion. Am I wrong for thinking that? But this is where it messes with me. I'm the bad guy if I think Saraput Magomedov will never become champion and people are like, well, yeah, bro, he only has one eye. Why is he here? Why is Saraput Magomedov here? Like, well, let's just keep it real here, bro. If we're never going to give him any stylistic matchup that's even slightly difficult for him, then I don't know what you were talking about, except for MVP. Trust me, we'll talk about MVP on this video. That's how I look at it. But now we're going to change. We're going to go back to Raul Rosas Jr. If I say Raul Rosas Jr. had a tough matchup against a can, I'm a bad person. I don't get it, bro. I can't critique the guy. I can't say anything. Gee-wee-wee. I think he's fun. I love the gimmick. I do. I think he's funny. But oh my goodness, bro, is he tough to talk about? Because if I bring up anything against him, this is literally what it is. I need to cough. Okay. If I bring up anything against Raul Rosas Jr., it instantly turns into this thing of like, oh man, bro, he's young, dude. He's not that young anymore. I'm sorry, there comes a point where we got to start taking the training wheels off. We got to start talking about him like he's an actual prospect and not like he's the youngest. I don't care anymore. We got to get it moving. The fact is when I'm looking at Raul Rosas Jr., he's going up to featherweight. He's no longer part of bantamweight. I don't think Raul has power for that division. I'll be real. He didn't have power at bantamweight. I don't think he has powers at that. If you can't impose your grappling, then your grappling doesn't exist. And I think Raul's a phenomenal grappler. I just need to see more out of him. When I'm looking at Raul Rosas Jr., I'm putting Raul Rosas Jr., okay, a bit glazed. Most people have come around to admit that we kind of glazed him quite a bit. But I have to put it in a bit glazed, if I'm being for real. Yair Rodriguez. Let me just say this right now. Yair Rodriguez is like the better version of Zabit. I'll keep it real here. No, Zabit is also hyper glazed. I'm sorry. Well, we would have never have known how good he would have become. He would have been wrestled after the first round because, yeah, people at the higher end of that division, guess what, can get out of the first round and take you down and control you. No, we know what would happen. He would have gotten not no-diffed. But the first person who gets out of the first round, it can actually use their grappling to some meaningful degree. We would have had some fun matchups with Zabit. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, brother, it's literally how we would beat Yair. Yair Rodriguez. And I also think Yair Rodriguez is kind of sneaky good. And he has a few wins that are like, that's kind of crazy. You have that win against Josh Emmett. I picked Yair to beat Brian Ortega. And then Yair unbelievably, hilariously disappointed me and then gets finished by Brian Ortega. And I think Yair gets finished by Diego. The reason that we're on here is for whatever reason, the UFC was on like this hyper glaze session where they were trying to argue that Yair Rodriguez could get a title shot against Volkanovski against beating Patricio Pitbull. And I get it, bro. I don't want to give it to Movsar Evloev either, but like I think Volkanovski has the best chance against beating Movsar. This is what I think they used to do if I'm being for real here. I think no matter what, book Lerone Murphy against Movsar Evloev, and you put both of your hands together, and you hope Gene Silva beats Diego Lopez, so we can do so we can do Gene Silva Volkanovski. I don't want to give it to Movsar either, but there comes a point where it's like Yair Rodriguez getting a title shot off beating Patricio Pitbull, where we were legitimately having the conversation that Yair fell off because he lost to Brian Ortega. I'm sorry, there does come a point where we have to do this. Yair Rodriguez, I'll be real. I'm putting him in overrated just purely off the principle of the UFC overrating him. I'm putting him right there. Micheal Chandler. Dude, if you actually look up most overrated UFC fighter, Micheal Chandler's one of the first people to come up. Bro, when Google Gemini knows, you know something's up. And I think here's the truth, Doug. We all know that Micheal Chandler, when it comes to like being in the ranked discussion, really just shouldn't be there. And this is where it bothers me. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje both have wins over Micheal Chandler. Yet, Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje have to be the guys to justify their rank other than Micheal Chandler. This is what I mean. Dustin Poirier had to justify his rank by beating Benoit Saint-Denis, and he did that. Justin Gaethje had to justify his rank, and then he had to face Rafael Fiziev. Micheal Chandler needs to face Joel Alvarez. Micheal Chandler, why are we talking about Benoit Saint-Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy when we literally have Micheal Chandler? Like, oh, well, what about Paddy? He failed! Throw him down! Joel Alvarez! Done! What are we talking about? But like, I'm just going to keep it 100%. Do you know what I think it is, honestly? The UFC is still holding out hope for Conor. I think, honestly, they will book Micheal Chandler versus Conor McGregor if Conor McGregor's like, fine, I'll come back for the Paramount Plus White House card. And he'll do that, and then that'll be it. Because logically speaking, Micheal Chandler should be facing Joel Alvarez right now. I just don't get it. I don't. Why? Micheal Chandler, Renato Moicano. These are matchups that should be made. What? Micheal Chandler versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Beneil Dariush. That's not even a bad matchup, but he just won't take it. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm putting him in pretty fair because the fan base does not rate Micheal Chandler. But I just got to bring that up. The fact that the only time Micheal Chandler had to face a prospect, he lost to Paddy. And then now we're like, what are we going to do with Chandler? Joel Alvarez. Somebody like that. Put him there. Pretty fair, though. I'm going to put him right there. Paddy Pimblett. Here's the truth, dude. This is what I mean. I will allow you to have one bad performance. Paddy Pimblett's bad performance is Jared Gordon. I think that was a robbery. I think Jared Gordon should have won that. Brother, when Dana White, when they read off the scorecard and you get read the winner, he's like, whew. Because he knows you said a loss, but he's not going to say that. He'll just be like, it was a bad performance. When old Dana would be like, did you see that shit? That was awful. Dude, no, Paddy Pimblett had a bad performance against Jared Gordon, and I will allow you one bad performance. But here's what I gotta say, dude. Most people know Paddy Pimblett's probably not going to become champion. I think Paddy Pimblett struggles with Arman. I think Paddy Pimblett beats Justin Gaethje. I think Paddy Pimblett beats Renato Moicano. I think Paddy Pimblett beats Beneil Dariush. And then maybe Fiziev. Those are the people in title contention that I actually think Paddy Pimblett would be able to beat. But the truth is, and this is where we talk about the overrated as a metric. Most people understand that Paddy's going to lose to Ilya, that he's going to lose to Arman. And Paddy fans aren't that delusional. That's the weird part. Like, when I'm putting there, he's overhyped a little bit. Like, we're giving him the superstar status, despite, I'll be real here, I think he'll have, like, a more talented Darren Till run, where, like, Darren Till just got folded by Tyron Woodley and then could never rebound. I think Paddy Pimblett will probably get folded by Ilya, but he'll have a few rebound wins that keep him in title contention. Overhyped, but good. I put him right there. Arman Tsarukyan. How the fuck did you make Arman Tsarukyan one of the most, overhyped people here? Arman used to be underrated. Arman used to be underrated. But if I have to hear the argument that from Lucas Tracy that Arman is above Adesanya based off... I can't. Brother, Arman Tsarukyan, and then this is where I'm going to get fired up. When I have to hear an Arman fan explain to me why Arman Tsarukyan is going to decimate Ilia Topuria, and if this is where, like, I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, okay, what from Arman Tsarukyan's career tells you that he's going to decimate Ilia Topuria? Tell me. Oh, well, Beneil Dariush. Do you know who else did Beneil Dariush like that? Charles Oliveira. Oh, first round stoppage. Just saying. Oh, well, I mean, like, Arman beat Charles in a decision. I'm sorry, bro. In a decision. I've gone too far, and I've said that that's arguable. No. This is the point that I'm trying to make here. Arman Tsarukyan has been out for so long that you can actually make the argument that the Charles Oliveira win looks worse in hindsight because we watched Ilia Topuria finish Charles Oliveira like that. And then this is where I got to bring it up. Remember when I said I'll allow you one bad performance? Arman has a few that I look at and I'm like, huh? What? Well, the Garbrandt one was a robbery. I'm sorry. Robbery losses can't be counted as good performances. I said it. If you think, well, no. Arman should have won that. The fact that judges were like, Garbrandt won tells me that performance was not that good. We saw what happened with Garbrandt. Okay, we know Arman's better than Garbrandt, but I'm sorry, you do got to rectify that before I give you a title shot, Arman. And then here's another one, Joaquim Silva. Let me get this straight. I'm supposed to believe that Arman Tsarukyan's supposed to be unstoppable, unhittable, prime Khabib level of power, according to Khabib fans. I watched Arman Tsarukyan get rocked by Charles Oliveira, get rocked by Joaquim Silva. This is what I'm seeing, and you're telling me that Ilya's not going to do the same thing and not lay him out cold. I'm putting Arman Tsarukyan in, like, this is actually insane. I'm putting him in overrated because, I'm sorry, dude, Arman Tsarukyan is not prime Khabib. Stop talking about him like he's prime Khabib. He is beatable. We've literally seen him lose before, and we've seen him get hurt in similar ways that Ilia Topuria is putting people down. Overrated, putting him right there. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Bro, Shavkat, I get it, bro. Like, life happens, and I wish you the best, and I hope everything works out well. But, brother, can we get back in the octagon, please? Like, on a real note, bro, it's been so long that I've had time to, like, chew on I want you to think about this. It's been so long since Shavkat Rakhmonov has come back. It actually is getting to a point where I'm like, I think Shavkat Rakhmonov should, like, face the winner of Jeff Neal and Carlos Prates. Now, like, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I think we should do Kamaru Usman, Bilal Muhammad. That's where I'm at. Honestly, bro. Like, Joaquin Buckley had time to climb up the entire division in the time it took, like, Shavkat Rakhmonov to beat Ian Gary. And I'll say this right now. Like, people don't rate Ian Gary. I think the Ian Gary win's pretty good. But, oh my goodness, bro. Shavkat lost some aura on that. I'll just be real here. And I think it's just because it's tough to look good in beating Ian Gary because you kind of have to play Ian Gary's game. But at the same time, dude, Shavkat Rakhmonov, how do you make it so you have a 100% finish rate -1 with Ian Gary? And now I'm to a point where I'm like, bro, I think people are kind of overrating you a little bit. Like, I need to see you versus another high-caliber guy. Like, I look back on the Jeff Neal performance, I'm like, you were getting lit up. Like, I think JDM's probably going to TKO Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, I'll just be real here. And that Ian Gary, bro, that was Ian Gary on, like, a weird camp thing because Ian Gary was supposed to fake Joaquin Buckley, and they had to start moving some people around, so Ian Gary was training for a different opponent. Like, that's what we're looking at here, dude. Like, honestly, dude, like, some people argue Joaquin Buckley's kind of overrated, and I'm kind of like, what do you mean? He beat Wonder Boy, and if you like, he beat Colby Covington. And the truth is, bro, like, Kamaru Usman just turned back the clock, and Usman's good. We all know this. But, dude, we're at a point with Shavkat Rakhmonov where I'm kind of like, I can't give you a title shot, and your fellow contenders have had time to look better. Sean Brady just dominated Leon. Like, that's what happened. Ian Gary's talking about getting another match. I'm sorry, dude. Shavkat Rakhmonov, I'm going to be real, a bit glazed right now. Bro, I need to be reminded of your prowess before I give you a title shot. That's where I'm at. MVP. Do you know what started me on this? I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and I had to pause it because Joe Rogan was, like, describing, like, prospects now, and he was talking about MVP. MVP, the unsolvable enigma. Did he not just fucking lose to Ian Gary? Like, do I have, like, dementia or something? Am I forgetting something right now? Did MVP not, like, get dominated and controlled by Ian Gary? Well, no, I don't know about dominate. No. Ian Gary, the guy that's a striking specialist, basically was taking down MVP at will. Over and over again. And here's the thing, dude. MVP is a one-dimensional striker. He is. He's a great striker, a striking specialist, 100%. He's a one-dimensional MMA fighter. We all know this. We're putting him up against Jared Cannonier, and I'm favoring Cannonier because I'm assuming Cannonier knows that I just have to take him down and hold him down. That's where I feel about MVP. I'm sorry. What do you mean the unsolvable enigma? We've literally seen him get solved before your very eyes. On a main card, by the way. We watched MVP get figured out. Oh, well, he beat Saraputin Magomedov. Saraputin Magomedov's never going to fight for a title in his life. I'm sorry, bro. Like, a dude above a can crusher. Dope. Amazing. Dude, like I don't want... Like, I think MVP's good, but what do you mean unsolvable enigma? And I know I'm critiquing, like, Joe Rogan, and I don't think Joe Rogan watches as much MMA as a lot of people. But, like, unsolvable enigma? Brother, he lost to Ian Gary. Are we being dead ass? I think Sean Brady absolutely not even competitive MVP. And I think MVP has trouble with, like, Marvin Vettori for doing middleweight. I think he loses to Jared. I think he loses to Robert Whitaker. I think he loses to Rainer de Ritter. I think he loses to Nazarene Amat. I think he loses to Barajo. Unsolvable enigma. Most people know. Get out of here, bro. I'm sorry, MVP. Overrated at this point, dog. I'm sorry. We literally saw you get solved. I think he's good, but overrated, bro. Khamzat Chimaev. Bro, I have to tread lightly here because I put him in the thumbnail. You want to know what it is? Khamzat fans describe Khamzat as a dude that you would think he's literally never taken a punch in his entire life. And this is what I gotta say. Kamaru Usman, on a week's notice, was able to make it so competitive that you can argue it should have been a draw because that 10-8 was not a 10-8. Gilbert Burns arguably won. And maybe it's a welterweight skill thing. Like, I'm going to be real here. This entire Khamzat thing, I think welterweight's a better division than middleweight. And I don't think that's debatable anymore. But at the same time, like, brother, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis is happening, like, tomorrow. So I got to tread lightly here. I think Khamzat has a scenario where he goes in and dominates Dricus du Plessis. But, like, Khamzat fans, stop talking about Khamzat like he's untouchable when I've literally seen him get dropped. I have seen him have trouble with people that I'm like, why are you having trouble right now? And I've seen him no-diff people, but, like, he no-diffed Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland got no-diffed by Rainer de Ritter. Okay? Robert Whitaker, fair play, amazing. I give you that 100%. But there does come a point where I'm like, Khamzat fans, stop trying. Like, I'm picking him to beat Dricus. And you're making me say, yeah, no, you're kind of overrating him a little bit. He's a bit glazed. Honestly, bro. Pretty fair. If you're honest with yourself, pretty fair. But, like, a bit glazed 100%. You want to know why? Brother, you guys are describing him like he's never been hit when he has. I just got to put him there. Jamahl Hill. As somebody that was hyping up Jamahl Hill a while back, I stand by a lot of the stuff that I said. I think Jamahl Hill has some of the sneakiest power in light heavyweight. I would compare Jamahl Hill with like an Anthony Johnson level of weird power. It just doesn't make sense. He pieced up Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira, whether you want to believe it or not, arguably like no. Was winning on the scorecards for Yuri Prohaska, and then Yuri was able to get the finish. But here's the truth, dog. Once you figure out that Jamahl Hill just doesn't really have any type of like lateral movement or like foot movement's basically a zero, and he just has weird power, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I know how to beat this. Yuri Prohaska spawned in head movement for the first time in his entire career, and he was able to win. Khalil Roundtree figured out his way to win and was able to get it by keeping it at distance and chopping at leg kicks because guess what? Not a lot of leg movement, very heavy, very trotting for you, and bomb. That's what it is. And I think Jamahl Hill, can get some wins in this division. Like, I'll be real, I think Jamahl Hill absolutely demolishes like a Dominic Reyes. I even would favor a Jamahl Hill versus somebody like a Carlos Ulberg if the circumstances were right. But I'm going to be real here. Overhyped, but good. That's where I'm standing. I have to tone it back a little bit because I'm realizing that we're nearing a point with Jamahl Hill where I don't think he improves that much more. I think we're nearing a peak of what Jamahl Hill is, and I used to think, okay, no, Jamahl Hill's going to learn this. And now I'm to a point where I'm like, this is Jamahl Hill. And I'm going to be real, overhyped, but good. Jon Jones. Brother, this is where it comes from. I can tell how long you've been a Jon Jones fan by how you describe him. Like, if you want to put Jon Jones as the GOAT, I understand. I get it. But, like, if you say something like, oh my goodness, bro, he developed a spinning back kick in his final matchup. Brother, he's literally famous for spinning techniques. What are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, he's going to be dominating people. It's like Jon Jones was taking Anthony Smith to a 5-round decision. Okay? Like, I'm sorry, that needs to be said. Maybe light heavyweight's just not that good. But then he does have a great win over Daniel, but the Daniel Cormier one, you kind of have to turn back a little bit. Like, that's the problem with Jon Jones, because a lot of the key wins you look at in hindsight, and you're like, that one is kind of dicey. I'm not going to play this whole game where it's like, oh yeah, well, light heavyweight is facing a lot of middleweights. Brother, if anything, that makes them better. Alex Pereira, the middleweight, goes up to light heavyweight and is arguably the third greatest light heavyweight of all time. And that might be changed soon. But, like, he was the third greatest light heavyweight for a minute, okay? And that's what we were talking about with Alex Pereira. The middleweight. If anything, coming from middleweight might make you a little bit better, okay? And I do believe Jon would have had trouble with some of the people that beat Dominic Reyes. Like, I think, hot take here. I think Jon would have had trouble with a Jan Blachowicz. I think he would have had trouble with a Magomed Ankalaev. I think might have beaten him, if I'm being for real here. But I think some people, when they talk about Jon, they go into this aspect like he was absolutely dominating, when in reality, I wouldn't call it domination. There were some where they were super dominant performances, but then there were some where, like, why was this so close? Why was that a close match? Why was the Dominic Reyes matchup so close, dude? Why are there so many asterisks in your career? Why are there so many PED scandals? I'm sorry, bro. I think overrated, but on the line between overhyped but good. Obviously, one of the greatest to ever do it. Jon Jones fans, they take it to a limit, and that's what I gotta say. And there you go. Those are some of the most overrated athletes in the UFC, in my opinion. If you dislike this video, let me know in the comment section down below. We can have a good old fest and debate. It's good to be back. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think we're going to be able to do it because of the support of you guys. We're trying to get videos out 2 to 3 times a week. That's what we're trying to do, and we're doing pretty good as of right now. I'm going to try to do a breakdown after the whole Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis matchup. That's going to be fun, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next video. Adios, guys. See ya.